You just got weaseled. We are building a weasel army. All right. Adam McIntyre next. Oh my God, wait, is there? Oh, wow. Okay, there's more to this than I thought. Okay, I guess we'll start with this one then.
Hi Muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope.
Okay, the Muckers are his community. I was getting confused for a second because there's Snarkers and there's Muckers and there's, you know, lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. And I was just trying to figure out, so the Muckers are pro Adam, the Snarkers are anti Adam. I think I've got it. I think I've got it.
You're all doing very well. Okay, I'm currently in LA. I'm here with my mom because we are taking a little week in LA before we go back to New York, and I do my final ever show in America on July 11th. We are almost sold out. It is in.
He's got that home movie money, 10,000 Mules. Wait, are you talking about, is that like a, is that 10,000 Mules? Is that like a, oh my God, what the fuck is his name? I can't remember his name. Oh, that kind of mules. But wait, that sounds like, isn't there like some kind of documentary? Oh, I can't remember his name now. The guy that said that there was no switch in parties between the Democrats are still like anti-black racists. They're still like the same pro-slavery party. Why can't I remember the fucker's name? Dinesh D'Souza. Thank you so much. Dinesh D'Souza, isn't that 10,000 Mules? Isn't that like a Dinesh D'Souza documentary?
Insane. We've sold out VIPs, we've sold out meet and greets, and I think we only have like 20 general admission left. So if you want to come, it's going to be my final show in America before I leave. And then I'm probably just going to move back to Brighton, honestly, at this stage. It's between Brighton and Paris, but if I go to Brighton,
I would stay the fuck out of America. Yeah, I wouldn't. If I did not have U.S. citizenship, there would be no chance of me ever going to America again, or at least for a very long time. As it is, I still want to stay the fuck out. So thank you to those of you who have contributed to my Vietnam, the fund for going to Vietnam to try to petition for a educational visa at the Thai embassy. That does help me out a lot, and I appreciate you.
and I get to bring my dogs. We've been having a lot of fun in LA. I don't know if anyone saw my post though, but literally like 2 days ago in WeHo, I got mugged and they stole my phone.
But I don't even know what you were joking about. I just saw the 10,000 mules and I like vaguely remembered it as a reference to, are you saying you're joking about Emma Vigland and her secret, like trust fund everything?
So I was without a phone for a little bit, hence the silence. But
I'm trying to remember who else we've heard that shit about Emma from. I feel like I saw somebody bring that up.
I can confirm that I went out and got a new phone, unfortunately, because even after all the tracking in the world, it turns out that they threw my phone in the bin and it got destroyed. So that wasn't the greatest, but we've been having a time in LA. Now, I want to talk about something that has came to my attention, and I wasn't going to film a video tonight, but I really want to talk about it because I think that there's something that I want to highlight with it. I'm going to be
Destiny talks about Emma that way. I think I've seen Ethan. Does Ethan do it too?
Snark today, okay? So obviously, like every other creator, I have a Snark. There's a Snark on me on Reddit.
Like every other creator, Adam, am I not a creator? Chat, I don't think there's a Snark for me. I mean, I definitely have had my ops, but they've kind of gone radio silent lately, at least as far as I've seen. Where's my Snark? Oh, I probably should knock on wood even saying that, because I am obviously kidding.
And you know, they talk about things they don't like or whatever, and I've always
no, but I'm just trying to figure out like where the reality ends and the sarcasm begins, right? Because again, John, I'm just reading like a few of your chats. I don't think I've seen everything that you've said, so if there's like an overall theme or something, or a little context clues or breadcrumbs, I'm probably not picking up on those.
Always been on the wavelength that whenever it comes to Snarks, I always feel like I don't want to comment too much on it, because you could argue commentary can be Snark. You could argue anything could be Snark, right? So it's like, who am I to dictate that I can talk about people, but people can't, talk about me, right? So I've always held this, and I still do. I think that there can come a part where, and something has happened on my Snark within the last couple days that I was a little bit...
At least they didn't get the guy who killed Peanut to be Secretary of Homeland Security. No, apparently it was Biden that killed Peanut.
Silent on, and I wasn't considering making a video on because I have launched an investigation into it because it has tread the line now. But basically, my Snark have reported me to ICE. Okay? Yes, that is a real sentence I just said. My Snark have reported me to ICE, as in ICE in America. And I really want to talk about it. And I've been advised not to talk about it because of what we're doing, but I really want to talk about it because I think it's really important to
WB says we call it the suicide minute in the industry, yeah.
Show that people are now weaponizing ICE in a way that's just like against creators they don't like. Okay? So, quick summary, I have been in America since February, on and off.
Chat, I'm not a big person about like public shaming, and especially when it's like just so much attention directed at somebody that some of that public shaming could potentially take place in person and so forth, right? I always try to avoid that. When I'm talking about a content creator that I'm showing you unfavorably, I will usually say something like, please do not harass them, or, stuff like that, right? But oh my God, when it comes to people weaponizing ICE against a content creator they don't like, or anybody fucking trying to fuck with anybody using ICE, oh my God. Look, I'm not going to say that you should go and try to expose their names or anything like that. I'm not going to say that, right? But I will say that if they were exposed for what they did, weaponizing ICE, and a whole hell of a lot of people were to pay attention to that, that is something they deserve, right? Like that shit, Dante needs to make a whole new circle of hell for those people, right? That's some scumbag fucking behavior.
I did shows in London, so I went back to London, and then I was traveling back home to see my dogs, and then I went to Japan. So, I've kind of been in and out of America since February. That was when my work visa started. And my work visa expires at the end of July, hence why I'm doing my New York show, and then I'm practically just packing up and leaving America because my work visa's up. So when I look at my passport right now, I have, and I can see my stamp, I have an O1 work visa. Now, this visa was very difficult to get, and I got it through the tour that I was doing with the tour company I was, working with at the time, because we were considering adding extra shows and stuff. So we basically got it from January until August, right? Just to kind of allow if we were going to add extra shows or whatever. And I want to confirm that I paid for my entire work visa, and I paid for all of the legal of my work visa, and it was a very long and very expensive process. However, for me to do the Chronically Online tour and do my New York show in a way where I was being fully documenting everything to do with tax, or documenting everything to do with when I was in America, how much money I was making in America, how much I was making the economy, the work visa seemed like the method that I wanted to move forward with. Now, I know that there are a lot of people that will come into America and they will work without a work visa, but that was just not part of my journey because I just didn't want to do anything wrong. And specifically with the time that I was starting the Chronically Online tour, it was when the Trump administration were really taking over. So of course it was a no-brainer that I wanted to make sure that there was, I had all of my...
Ooh, look at this. Brett Cooper has moved into third place, right? So thank you for everybody who voted. Yeah, 229 of you have voted so far. It looks like Brett Cooper is ahead of Francesca on Don Lemon by 2 percentage points. So if you've got a favorite amongst those two topics, make your voice heard now. There's still time to vote, but it looks like we're going to get Brett Cooper.
Proper visas or whatever, in case the tour would get canceled, and then it would be my fault for not having the right one, right? It was a long process. It was an expensive process. And if you have followed me on social media, I talked about that at length. I was flying back and forth from the Dublin, USA embassy every weekend doing interviews and stuff like that because an O1 work visa is really hard to get. This is it right here. It basically is a visa for extraordinary abilities. And it has a lot to do with like motion picture and everything to do with the arts and the creative field. Now, it is very hard to prove that your extraordinary ability in an O1 visa in general. It's even harder to do that when you are a YouTuber. However, the way with the plentiful of documents that we had to provide to the government, it basically was news articles, the fact that the show's first leg when we had applied for the visa was I think 5 shows and we sold out 3 of them or maybe 4 of them on first leg. So we were able to show that there was a reason that I was coming into America. So obviously we ended up getting approved for the visa. I want to clarify that, right? Now also, aside from doing YouTube, which you make money doing, which if I'm filming out here, then you're classic, you're working. We had Brooklyn, Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles, Dallas, Nashville, Philly, Washington, D.C., Boston, Minneapolis, Detroit, but Chicago for a second time, Orlando, Houston, Atlanta, Phoenix, Vegas, San Diego, San Francisco. We had just that on one stretch of work, right? Which we had to provide. And then also my New York show, which is July 11th, which is...
McIntyre does JoJo poses? Like, what the fuck, chat? How come nobody told me he does JoJo pose? Look at that.
The last piece of work that I'm doing in America before giving up my work visa, that was my schedule, right? Now, on my Snark, they posted a photo that I had posted of my visa showing that I got the O1 work visa right here, type class O1 work visa, which is this visa that you use.
You see the little R next to it?
They posted this and a lot of people were sending it to me and I had no idea what was wrong here. And then a quick scroll down shows that these people on my Snark are actively excited about the fact that they are reporting me to the American Immigrant and Customs Enforcement, ICE. Literally, we have people on my Snark that are posting.
What? That's a person that's, oh my God. No, that's more of a scumbag than I realized. The only time I won't say fuck ICE, right, is when you report Adam McIntyre for the glory of H3 and the Fupa Troopas, right? Otherwise, I'm totally against ICE. I'm against what they're doing. I stand with the protesters in LA. I want the National Guard and the Marines out of LA. I want ICE out of LA. But please, ICE, abuse Adam McIntyre.
The only time I won't say fuck ICE, and they're showing that they are reporting me to ICE. Now, there's a big conversation that's going on here. The first one being that they are saying that I am on a religious work visa because they can't read clearly, and they're seeing the R instead of the O1 visa, which again, the O1 visa, please, people, we need to read. There is an entire thread on here about how they are analyzing that I am on an R1 non-immigrant visa that is for religious organizations to perform religious duties. Now, people, we have got to use a little...
Didn't you know that muck was a religion? Yeah, that's right. Adam is here to spread the good word of muck amongst the faithful.
Little bit of common sense here to know that that is not the visa that I am under. However, there is an entire thread where people have spent 11 days dissecting my visa, incorrectly by the way, implying that I'm here on religious activities, which number one isn't true, but number two has now started this movement where they are all reporting me to ICE. Now, I just want to clarify one thing, which is that ICE are targeting and kidnapping from the Hispanic and Latino communities around America, okay? And my Snark are choosing to further engage with that organization of ICE which are kidnapping Americans all around America, they decided to continue supporting ICE by reporting me to ICE. And there's multiple of them on this thread that have admitted that they have put in an application towards ICE to do something to me. Okay? But again, I want to clarify that these people are supporting the ICE organization that is genuinely just fucking kidnapping from so many different communities around America, specifically targeting the Latino and Hispanic communities. And there's something really troubling to me, right? And again, I've said time and time again that when it comes to Snark, I pretty much will put my hands up and kind of just allow people to do whatever they're doing, because again, I don't want to criticize how people talk about people, even if that is me, because then who am I to judge? Because I talk about people on my YouTube. But I think that there's something truly, truly, truly disgusting about weaponizing ICE against people. I think that there's something so disgusting about that. And I think the audacity to have an entire Snark dedicated to how I, Adam McIntyre, am a bad person, while you in your communities are joining forces, supporting ICE, giving them information, first of all, that's incorrect, but just further supporting ICE. And now, again, I've talked about this on my...
I didn't see Adam's first, the second one is interesting. You mean the second one about Ethan? Did you see that one?
My YouTube before, and I will always talk about it on my Instagram, and I just think it's important to continue talking.
Because I thought this was the first one.
About what is happening in America right now. And also, just being fully transparent with you, it has been a risk for me to be talking about ICE, to be talking about Palestine, while I have been here on a work visa. Because yes, I could have immediately gotten my visa, taken off me, and that is something that can happen because we are seeing people be denied visas, even if they're going through routes of trying to get a visa into United States. We are seeing that they are being denied whenever the officials or government are looking through their social medias or looking through their phones. And we literally saw a couple days ago, a tourist was denied entry to the States because he had a JD Vance bald meme on his phone. So yes, while I have been speaking out about ICE and the deportations and also everything that was going on and is still going on with the genocide in Palestine, I always knew that there was a risk. I always knew that there was a risk. And I knew that that could have meant that the tour could have been canceled. My New York show could have been canceled. I knew that that could have gotten me arrested. I knew that that could have gotten me banned from America. This is not a wild scenario. This is actually what's going on right now, okay? But still, I chose that it was more important for me to speak out about things that I truly believe in, and morally I just had to, right? And I will continue to, for as long as I am still in America, which at this stage, I literally, my visa's almost up, so I'm leaving after my New York show anyways. Now, while I knew that there was that risk there, I never, ever, ever once thought that it would be people within the YouTube community that would be the ones trying to report me doing that. That's what's troubling to me. But again, I cannot stress enough. If you support ICE, fuck you. Whether you're on my Snark, a different Snark, whether you're in my comment section, a different comment section, whether you tweet me, whether you...
Does he talk about a lawsuit? I'm not sure. Oh, no, yes, I see Evangelina. This is from 4 days ago. So I'm guessing maybe this is where he mentions the lawsuit. I see Evangelina's got a video from 3 days ago about Adam suing his subreddit, or not his subreddit, but the Snark subreddit.
My YouTube, whether you engage with me in some way. Number one, if you support ICE, you are truly not someone that I ever, ever, ever want to deal with. I think you're evil. I think you're incredibly backwards, and I think you're inhumane, if I'm being quite honest. And I don't know if there's a way to look at what's going on right now and not feel that way. But number two, the fact that there are communities online, which again, I also want to clarify that it was not that long ago that I was in meetings with managers who brought up Snarks to me and said, oh, we worked with XYZ creator and we were easily able to get Snarks taken down for harassment, terms of service, and also copyright if they upload your things. And I have always said, please don't do anything because I don't want to be a hypocrite. I remember specifically during the Colleen of it all a couple years ago, that was when it was at its peak. And these people were uploading a lot of my clips. And I had people coming to me saying, do you want this page taken down? They're infringing your copyright. And I always said, and everyone around me can confirm me on this, I always said no, because then I'm being a hypocrite. And again, to other posts on this page, fine. That is, I'm not holding you to that. I'm not holding you to that at all. But the fact that there is an entire conversation that's been going on for almost 2 weeks now where people are gleefully, incorrectly by the way, reporting me to ICE. Again, ICE that is tearing and breaking families apart, is kidnapping people just on the street. But yet people hate me so much that they're incorrectly, by the way, reading my visa when they should be reading over here, by the way, and see that it's an actual visa that is a work visa, that's a temporary work visa, by the way. The fact that they're doing that and gleefully dissecting, saying, well, why is he here on a religious visa? Which I'm not. And then they're questioning the United States Immigration Department. Then they're saying that they're emailing and reaching out to the United States government for clarification on what visa that I'm on, because I need to be kicked out of America. So
you're not preaching.
They're still going.
You should be preaching. You're here on a religious visa. You should be spreading the good word.
They're like, there's a full conversation going on, right? And also, I was the one that posted that photo of my visa. So the fact that they're also acting like there was something that was leaked, I posted that to show that I finally got the O1 visa because, again, it took a goddamn long time and a lot of money. If I'm being completely honest with you, the work visa, I'm pretty sure, cost me like $12,000 because we applied for it after the shows were announced, so we had to speed that process up. And again, all of my money, all of my legal fees, I was the one that chose to do the work visa. I'm the one that paid for the work visa myself. And let me tell you something. It was genuinely about 11 or 12,000 for the speeding up the process and all of the legal fees. So that is a whole other conversation, right? But these people
Wait, some people think that Ethan may have actually falsely reported Adam to ICE. Like, I wish I could say that I don't think that Ethan would do that. But considering how fast and loose he played with the idea that Hassan had had hired an undocumented person to cook his chicken, and yeah, if that had been real, if that hadn't been his mom and Kaya that are actually cooking the chicken, but an actual person working for Hassan to do that, that person could have gotten kicked out and deported. That person could end up who knows where because of that, right? It makes me like, I mean, I can't say that. I can't say that it's not Ethan.
So ignorant that, first of all, I love this. They're not even asking Google. They're asking ChatGPT.
That sounds like an Ethan move. That sounds like an Ethan move. I'm sorry.
They're asking
or Dan Saltman move, but
ChatGPT. I think that really sums up these people, right? We're not even Googling at this stage. We're using ChatGPT. Amazing. I asked ChatGPT so many questions. We need you to go back to school. We need you to go back to school. So they're saying, does Homie know if he's religious or not? Because they're saying, hasn't he spoken in the past about not being religious? I'm not on a religious work.
He said he wasn't religious, so he was an atheist, and then he forgot. He doesn't know that being an atheist means that you can't be like a preacher for Christianity. That's right. He's that, like, what? Like, it's a weird kind of Dunning-Kruger, right? That creates this, that like this person knows so little that they've got to ask ChatGPT everything, but they're like, oh yeah, I guess Adam is just stupid. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm an atheist. Yeah, that sounds cool. I'll be an atheist. Oh, but I'm also religious, Jesus and God and everything. That's really cool. And he has, and this person has to be like, oh, Adam, actually being an atheist means not believing in Jesus, God, Buddha, or any anyone else, any other religious figures. Like it's.
I'm not. I don't even know if that's a thing.
Oh, after Hila's disappear statement, I forgot about that.
So they are dissecting sponsors and how it would work if the tour company sponsored me. They're saying, how does it work with me paying my taxes? They're saying work outside of the US. I really, really, really don't understand this. And again, we have these people dissecting the eligibility, the removal process, the in admission. These people are now trying to work together to get my visa removed, get me banned from the United States, maybe get me relocated to a different country and make it so that I can never get a visa again because I false claimed. And then they're going on talking about me, about the possibility of there being a deportation process for me, a detection process if they started going through all my database checks, interviews, site visits, because they read my visa wrong, okay? And again, cannot clarify enough. These people...
Isn't knowing God the ultimate parasocial relationship? Not if you get a selfie with God.
...on my Snark are gleefully supporting ICE and are contributing to the growing of ICE by giving them information, wrong or not. And I want people to know the reason that I'm making this video specifically is I have said that in the past about I kind of have this approach where I put my hands up when it comes to Snark because I don't want to be seen as a hypocrite. A lot of people have been sending me this from my own community and being like, Adam, you need to say something about this because your name is attached to this Snark, right? And I believe it now. Like, I see it. I want to make a statement here. If anyone ever goes over to the Adam McIntyre Snark, I want you to know that I do not stand behind people supporting ICE. I do not stand behind people in any ways calling for people to be deported, to be detained, to be arrested, to be relocated. I think these people are sick for this, the ones that are doing this. I think it is incredibly dangerous. And again, I just want everyone to know that I've been very outspoken about how against ICE I am. And whenever this is now attached with my name, even more so I need to double down. I'm not the one that gets affected by this. And I don't know if the people that are doing this know that. I am not the target of ICE, but the more that you try to make me the target of ICE, the more you support ICE kidnapping and deporting from the Hispanic, the Latino community. And when do you call it as too much? When are you crossing a line? And again, I do just want to clarify now that for people that have been posting on my Snark about reporting me to ICE or whatever like that, we literally have documented everything, and we have been over the last 11 days. We've also really gone through some other things that have been highly illegal that have been posted on here. We've compiled them, and honestly, Snark is one thing for me. Again, I'm not a hypocrite here. I know that people online have said I support Snark and all like this. My place is, who am I to say whether it exists or not, right? Okay? I've referenced it. I've read from it. Please, I still stand by that. But what I'm saying is when you cross a line that is illegal, things need to be done about it. And unfortunately, I am having to do that now. So again, for clarification, if anyone comes across this page and thinks that there's any endorsement from me at all, I do not support ICE at all, point blank, period. I'm getting so red because I'm so pissed off. Okay, this was not the video that I was going to film, but it was important for me to. I will see you all later.
So you can see Adam basically talking through the process with his lawyers and, possible actions. And so this is kind of setting up the lawsuit that it looks like went on. I mean, the Evangelina's video is called Adam McIntyre suing his Snark subreddit. And then we got another video from Adam 2 days ago. This is Ethan Klein says, "I'm reaping what I sow."
Hi muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing very well. Okay, I have a lot of updates to give today in terms of everything.
Oh, what are people saying about Elliot Sang? I just saw this video. Wait, do I have it saved to the playlist already? Yeah, let's put that on the playlist. What are people saying about the Elliot Sang video on ContraPoints?
That was happening with my Snark page, and there's just been a lot of discourse and a lot of conversation. And I do also want to clarify that I am now moving forward in a legal investigation into everything as well, because a line was crossed. There is some things I want to talk about, and then there's things that I've written down that I want to touch on as well. Now, if you do not know what happened, basically the Adam McIntyre Snark on Reddit were posting my visa, and were for 2 weeks having a conversation in terms of I was in an incorrect visa in the country. They were saying that I was illegally lying in America. They were also basically implying that I wasn't paying tax, that I was scamming the tax system in America, the government, all the rest. And they were actively posting that they were reporting me to ICE. They posted screenshots of submissions to ICE about me. And they would write things like, I'm normally against ICE, but in this instance, and Reddit have really strict rules, which is like a contact rule as well. And all of that was broken, obviously, but there were a lot of other things that were broken in the process of that. Now, I just really quickly want to get to what I've written down, because I want to make sure that I'm repeating it properly. And also I had help getting this written because I want to make sure that I'm saying the proper things. But basically, again, clarification, I was the target of a deliberate and malicious false report to the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. It was made by the individuals on the subreddit r/Adam McIntyre Snark. And they have been posting on an unmoderated subreddit about me for the longest time. The moderators literally dropped off, and it was a free-for-all, and it turned into people literally trying to get me arrested, trying to get me thrown in detention centers, and all the rest, okay? Now, it crossed a line whenever you start trying to put me in danger. You know, people have been saying, well, how can you be for Snark? How can you be against Snark? How can you be all these things? But now it's a problem for you. No, that's not actually true. What I've always been consistent in saying, even in my last video when I first talked about this, is I've kind of always had this approach whenever it came to Snark, which is with the content that I make, which is talking about other people and commentary and can be drama. I was like, I kind of put my hands up and I'm like, well, who am I to say what other people are posting, specifically when there's so many Snark pages online, right? Because I don't want to be seen as a hypocrite. And I also kept that standard when it came to my Snark. And there was also 3 other Snarks about me that were simultaneously running in the process of this. And whenever I would hire managers, the first thing they would say is, for brands, we want to get rid of the Snark pages. And I always said that I didn't want that to happen, because then I could be seen as a hypocrite. You know what I mean? You could argue that, oh, well, Adam's talking about people, but we can't talk about him. That's kind of been my attitude, right? And now it was very easy in the past, whenever managers were saying to take down Snark pages because they were uploading copyrighted content. You could argue infringement, you could argue harassment, all of the rest, right? But I have said this time and time again, I actively went out of my way not to get my subreddit taken down because I didn't want anyone to ever call me a hypocrite, which is ironic because even in the process of people trying to get me deported or arrested and submitting me to ICE incorrectly, there's still people that are like, oh, well, Adam's a hypocrite. And I'm like, actually, you have no idea what you're talking about. So it literally crossed a line. This was no longer snarking. This was putting me in government records incorrectly because you don't know how to read a visa. So again, I just want to clarify that it was someone or multiple people that were falsely reporting me to ICE. They claimed that I was in the US illegally or violating immigration laws. And again, this was absolutely false. I am in full compliance with immigration law, and there is no violation of status, residency, or visa terms. I'm on an O1 work visa, so I could complete my tour. I have one more show in New York in like 2 days, and then I leave America. That is how my visa, a work visa, works. However, it's important to clarify that ICE take every report seriously, even anonymous ones. This now means that my name, Adam McIntyre, and my personal information have been submitted to a federal agency with the power to investigate that, detain, or deport me. This is not a joke, and this is where it has crossed a line. You're now dealing with federal agencies having the ability to do whatever they want to me, which we're already seeing them do to Hispanic and Latino communities, where they are genuinely kidnapping from these communities. And people are trying to weaponize that system about creators that they do not like, when we should not be feeding into the system in the first place. Now, again, ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, conduct raids without prior warning. They hold individuals in detention centers for however long they want. They separate families and restrict access to legal counsel, and they also just have a lot of the system can be moved in whatever way they want, okay? And again, the target of this is mainly the Hispanic and Latino communities around the world. But we are now seeing people on Snark pages.
It smells delicious, chat, but I cannot eat any more fruit. I'm going to put this fatty melon away.
Weaponize this and this system, which is a flawed system and a completely disgusting one in general, about people they don't like online, which is incredibly, incredibly, incredibly scary. So I just want to clarify that filing a report to ICE is not the same as trying to cancel someone. It is so far past that. It's an attempt to use the United States immigration system as a tool of harassment. You're literally trying to turn the government into a weapon against creators or people that you do not like. Now, again, this was important for me to write down and make sure that I repeat here. I want to tell you that I'm not trying to make the issue of ICE, deportation, or immigration trauma about myself in any way, shape, or form. There are immigrants, asylum seekers, refugees who are the ones who are being directly and violently impacted by these systems in ways that I, Adam McIntyre, will never fully be able to understand ever. Now, we're seeing families being separated, we're seeing children being detained, and people are struggling and being sent away to detention centers, and we never hear updates from them. You know, now, I cannot stress enough how I'm not trying to make in any way that about me. I'm trying to highlight how people are now using that flawed system as a harassment tool. So again, what happened to me was an attempt to abuse that system, and that's why I'm speaking out. I'm not trying to center this around myself in any way, shape, or form with the ongoing crisis, but I'm trying to call attention to the fact that there are people that are now treating the system like a game, like a weapon that they can literally just aim at someone that they do not like.
And when Ethan says shit like, you know, they called CPS, now the gloves are off, right? This is the result of that. This is the result. One person potentially called CPS again. We don't know what actually happened. We don't know if it was Ethan calling CPS on himself. We don't know if it was somebody in Ethan's life calling CPS on him. If it was somebody that was actually concerned that watched that weird clip where he talks about his, you know, kids rolling around on the ground, like putting stuff in their mouth. The dog had giardia. You get giardia from eating poop, by the way, and like thereby implying that his children were eating poop, right? And was really legitimately concerned, or if it was somebody that just hates Ethan Klein's guts and is like, oh, I will use this to, you know, I don't think that your kids are in danger, but I'm going to call them anyway. It's, you know, when you say shit like that, when you say shit like what Dan Saltman said, which is there are no bad targets, only, or there are no bad tactics, only bad targets, right? So in other words, for Hassan Piker, feel free to lie about him, right? Don't have any concern about the morality of this shit. When people say shit like that to audiences, this makes this kind of shit, this kind of line crossing, all the more likely.
Now, again, I do want to clarify that even false accusations can trigger responses from ICE agents, and it's incredibly terrifying that people online who do not know you can report you to that system, and that case can become a case. So, again, I'm speaking from my own experience and what happened to me here, but I do just want to...
Let's say one more thing. It's likely to become a case because those ICE agents have been yelled at by Stephen Miller for not arresting and deporting enough people fast enough, right? They are dealing with at the very least, an informal quota that they have to fulfill. And so there's every imperative, even if this is not a case of a violation of immigration law in any way, for them to make it so. And yeah, the Trump administration, thanks to the cowardice of the Democrats passing the Laken Riley Act, they don't have to do due process anymore.
Let you know that what is actually going on is so far beyond me, and I'm so aware of that.
Oh.
When we are starting to weaponize the government against people that we don't like online, it is dangerous, it's abusive, and it's insane. It truly, truly, truly is insane. So I also want to clarify that because of this, I've had to do a formal investigation into this, which is retaining legal counsel. And there's now going to be an investigation into the source of these false reports. We are going to be working with Reddit, or we're going to be attempting to work with Reddit for data requests, because literally under US law, filing a false report to a federal agency is a criminal offense, which these people on my Snark were happily posting that they were doing. And basically, it makes it illegal to knowingly and willfully make false statements to federal officials. This carries penalties, by the way, that can include fines and even imprisonment. On top of that, this is defamation. That is defamation. The act of knowingly spreading false, damaging statements that could severely harm someone's reputation, livelihood, or legal standing. So, yeah, this is serious, and yeah, I normally don't have a tone this serious in a video because we silly and goofy over here, but this is when it's been taken too far for me and for anyone. And also, I do have to stand up here to my fellow creators and fellow people on social media who this can also happen to. It's insane. I want to talk really quickly about the fact that Ethan Klein ended up posting about this when it happened. So here it is on the H3H3 Productions subreddit. Ethan writes, Adam McIntyre has been promoting and participating in my Snark for a long time. He gives them literal shoutouts. So now that it's happened to him, he wants sympathy. Not so funny now. Adam?
You know that he's going to make like a parallel between CBS and this. You know that he's going to try to do a false equivalency there.
I'm surprised you even have the nerve to post this after the amount of snarking you've done. Literally reaping what you sow. Spelled incorrectly, by the way. Now, my favorite thing about this is that Ethan Klein took this screenshot from the H3H3 Productions subreddit, one of the largest subreddits online. And by the way, the entire conversation on here is snarking on me, obviously, because they're one of the biggest snark pages. But even more so, one thing I want to bring to your attention is Ethan Klein loves to generalize.
So yeah, Ethan uses snark as a verb. Ethan Klein is trying to make it a thing. Oh, are you snarking? Are you doing a snark? Is that some snark? Like, did you say something bad about me? Well, if I can find somebody saying the same thing bad about me on this webpage, then you are snarking. You're a bad person. We're with the bad people, right? And it's kind of like, it's starting to become like a meaningless, I mean, it's a silly internet meaningless term to begin with, right? But it becomes like even more so. But the, what Ethan, like, so he's defining it as like, yeah, if it's, you know, if it's a page that talks shit about a content creator, well, what happens when H3H3 Productions talks shit about a content creator? What do you call that? And by Ethan's definition, that the definition that he set up, that is snarking. Your subreddit, which is supposed to be a community for celebrating your work or for talking about your work or whatever, right? your subreddit is functioning mostly at this point like Kiwi Farms, right? Like something that's even worse than a Reddit snark.
Snark. He uses the word snark when he talks about individuals or communities online that talk about him negatively, and whatever that may be beyond, okay? Keeping it as simple as possible here for terms, because I have a point here, right? So Ethan does that. So even if there were a couple people on a snark who are doing terrible things to him, crossing the line, going too far, he will then generalize that term with snark. So what I can now confidently say is that Ethan Klein's page, the H3H3 Productions, have people on it that are the exact same and worse than what Ethan Klein literally accuses me of ever doing.
I would question at this point whether most of the posts on Ethan Klein's subreddit are not in some way snarking on other creators.
And you know why? The person who did the post about my visa. Let's do some digging.
Oh shit.
This is their account. ICFox749.
You just got weaseled.
This is all public, as you can see right here, and they were posting about it for 2 weeks before anyone even noticed, right? Sorry, there's a big conversation again where we're seeing people submitting me to ICE. Now, ICFox749. Let me pull this up for you really quick. Oh, I also want to clarify that on my snark, it said one of the rules is no Ballinger bashing. Many of us are Colleen supporters, and we will not tolerate snarking on Colleen, her family, or friends of the Ballingers.
So is that kind of where this started from? Was people mad at Adam exposing Colleen?
We do not require you to be a fan, but respect those of us who are. That's one of the rules. Anyways, so that person who did the post and started this movement, right, about me and my visa and getting me submitted to ICE, when you click on their profile, you see that they are an active member of the H3H3 Productions subreddit. Now, they post very often over there, even as much as posting
tortured to death by idiots.
Multiple times a day. So, I'm literally just scrolling through and I'm seeing posts that they're doing over the last even just couple weeks.
All right.
Look at this. Now, again, I only scrolled a little bit down, but we're seeing even from 100 days ago, they're posting on the H3H3 Productions Reddit. And again, literally just seeing within the last couple weeks, they are an active member of the H3H3 Productions Reddit. Now, I have said for a very, very, very long time that I believe that the H3H3 Productions Reddit is one of the biggest snark pages in the entire world. And I will always double down on that point. The H3H3 Productions subreddit.
Can you imagine if all of Ethan's moral panic about snark, if it actually resulted in getting his own page taken down there? All right, his own subreddit, right? This isn't Adam McIntyre snark we're talking about. This is H3H3 Productions. This is essentially Ethan's Kiwi Farms, right? Ethan's personal army to go and harass people that talk shit about him. Can you imagine if that shit got taken away from him by virtue of his own Karening?
Is a snark page. What they do is they talk about people and they snark on people. And Ethan Klein himself is also, in my opinion, a snarker. You know why? Because they have this ecosystem. This was a screenshot posted of my video in the H3H3 Productions Reddit. People were snarking on me in the comments. Ethan Klein takes a screenshot of their photo posted on his Instagram story with a caption that then the H3H3 Productions subreddit then repost Ethan's Instagram story, and we're seeing over 200 comments of snark or this is the ecosystem that they have, and this is what people have a lot of issues with Ethan Klein over, that he is a hypocrite when it comes to snark, okay? And I truly, truly, truly believe that. Now, Ethan has went on to say some more things in a second, but I think it's really fucking crazy that Ethan and the H3H3 Productions Reddit love to bring up, when it comes to me talking about being reported to ICE, that well, Adam was celebrating, gleefully throwing parties over Ethan having CPS being called on them. And then someone will be like, okay, do you have a clip of that? And then they'll go silent. They're literally implying that with Ethan and the CPS, I was hooting and hollering and throwing a party or even just celebrating it. They're literally saying I was celebrating. Look how sunburned I am, Jesus Christ. They said I was celebrating the CPS call. And that's why this Snark ecosystem just feeds off of lies, okay? Just feeds off of constant lies. Now, I want to go on to say that my Snark today was banned from Reddit. It was banned from Reddit, by the way, for being, one of the main reasons was it was completely unmoderated, but they also broke the rules of where Reddit, again, like I told you, have this no contact policy where if you're like trying to like meddle with people's in real life. But it's crazy to me that a Snark page was completely unmoderated. And of course that would lead to people sending me to ICE. Now, Ethan posted about this. And again, he literally is posting a screenshot from the H3H3 Productions Reddit. And then he posts about that. And then this gets posted on the H3H3 Productions Reddit. And then there's more snarking. Are you seeing my point here? You cannot play both sides in this, Ethan. Unlike other creators who speak about their snark, they don't have one of the biggest Reddits of all time. And again, I completely sympathize with the fact that if a Reddit is that big, it's probably incredibly hard to moderate, but that is not an excuse when you are so often posting from that Reddit. And I made it very clear in my video to state I have zero involvement with the Adam McIntyre snark. God rest her soul. Was never a moderator, never wrote in it. Ethan, on the other hand, cannot say that because he actively and daily gets his resources, his receipts, whatever you want to call it, from that very snark, the H3H3 Productions Reddit. So me and Ethan and other creators who talk about snark are not similar in any way. And that's what, in my opinion, makes Ethan Klein a hypocrite. Ethan writes, I agree with the decision to ban Adam's snark, but it begs the endless, enraging question, the uneven enforcement, the avid protection of our snark subreddit. Why?
The avid and ardent protection? Did he have ChatGPT rewrite this and make it sound more intelligent? The avid and ardent protection?
Why? Our snark has been reporting our Swedish crew member to ICE for the last 2 years, out in the open, unapologetic. So, also, with that point, they're obviously talking about their employee love. If anyone who's watching this right now has that from any of the H3 snarks that may have existed, please send it to me. Because right now, this is another one of those Ethan saying something and then not showing a screenshot for it. I'm not saying anything in any way. I'm just saying, can someone please send me that? Because again, it would so help Ethan's argument if when he would throw out things like this, he would show them as well. And now again, this is me trying to support him here. I'm saying post this stuff as well. That's what I did when they were reporting me to ICE. And that's what got my Reddit taken down. So again, if anyone...
Look, the analog to this would be that if Ethan found a thread on one of the Snark page where they were like coordinating, like false claims to CPS. I don't think that Ethan has those receipts because as far as I know, they don't exist.
It probably won't be Ethan. I'm sure someone on the subreddit will post this and then Ethan will see it. Post this. Again, that may just mean me not being on the internet. Post it so we can all talk about it even more so in the wake of talking about this now. But as of right now, it just is really weird to continue throwing out these just sentences and what, you know what I mean? Like, you've got to publicly show us. And right on Reddit, the admins were aware. They not only refuse to moderate the posts, they deny reports. They provide feedback to the moderators on how to stay compliant. We have one of the largest community subreddits on the entire site.
So like, look at what his receipt is. What he's showing, the picture he's showing is Adam McIntyre's snark has been banned. Yet Ethan is fine. Ethan is fine, right? What that it should be is a picture of the Snark subreddit that was talking about getting Love deported. I'm assuming that's who he's talking about here, the Swedish crew member Love deported, right? If that's true, show us. Fucking show us, Ethan. I would love to see that shit. And if they're doing that, then fuck them. Fuck ICE. Fuck anybody that's trying to get Love deported. Fuck anybody who's trying to get Adam deported, of course.
Never heard from an admin. People have treated me like I'm insane for accusing Reddit of protecting or
acting insane, yeah.
Participating in our snark. I hope this at the least confirms what I've known for a very long time. Reddit is being weaponized by people inside their
Yeah, Ethan, you're being gang stalked by Redditors, that's right.
Organization. And again, I cannot clarify enough that Ethan Klein is literally, while writing about snarks, posting a post from his Reddit, which again is one of, like he says, the biggest communities on Reddit, and again, is one of the nastiest snark pages in the entire fucking world. Whether they don't have snark at the end of it, Jesus Christ, whether it's any person that Ethan's talking about on the show, they will target anything about people. And again, even just on that post of this, where they're uploading Ethan's Instagram story about me, the top comment is, Mexican immigrant here. See how ICE is just for Mexicans isn't true? ICE can be weaponized against anyone. If it affects us, it will affect you. Also, don't lay in bed with snarkers. Just a little advice, Adam.
And now I'm guessing he doesn't know what that last word is, but that's Spanish for asshole.
What the fuck?
They just called him a pendejo.
And that's the top upvoted one. My entire 2 videos have been talking about the people who are directly being impacted the most by ICE, and also further clarifying that yes, I can be affected by it, but that's not the communities that are being and it's great. Like, literally scrolling through here, this creature claimed CPS calling snark etc. was just trying to help Ethan.
This creature?
So apparently I've said CPS being called on Ethan was just trying to help Ethan. Well, maybe the ICE reports were just trying to save you money on a flight home, you little rat. I love you for this. You little rat felt so good to hear. Creature, not creature. Where did Adam say that people were just trying to help with the CPS? If he said that, he's such a vile, disgusting rat. You know why? Because it never happened. Because the H3...
I've had a lot of lies told about me on Reddit. I know exactly. Yeah, they just kind of build on each other. It's like, somebody lies and somebody like replies to the lie as if it's the truth, and pretty soon they build a whole fucking edifice of lies.
3 Productions Reddit run with such shit moderation, unless they're talking negatively about Ethan. They run with fake reports, they run with fake stories, and they just have this dumb, never-ending, nasty narrative. I'm pretty sure, didn't Ethan even say online that Reddit he got really pissed where he was like, Reddit were saying, oh, well, your Reddit does a similar thing as what you're accusing other people. There was something like that, right? Because it's true. The people on the H3 Productions Reddit at large are snarkers. That is why they are fucking there. And they've turned on Ethan multiple times as well. And that's where the moderation comes in. It's just... I mean, take a scroll. Take a fucking scroll through this. Literally take a scroll. And you will see that exactly... My point. I find it incredibly frustrating what Ethan Klein says when he has one of the biggest, in my opinion, snark pages of all time against every person that he's ever had issues with. That's not taking anything away from pages that snark on Ethan, but I'm saying that it's incredibly hypocritical when he houses one of the biggest places for that on the internet. And furthermore, again, just doubling down on the fact that the person who was doing my post is an active member of the H3 Productions Reddit.
So the more Ethan tries to stir shit, the more likely people on Reddit are going to take a look at his subreddit. And it would be a shame, given what an old subreddit that is, what a large subreddit is, how much Ethan adores his fucking pet and sends it after anybody that he ever has an issue with, right? It would be a shame if that thing were to get deleted the fuck off the internet forever. That would be a shame, because you know that him trying to rebuild that shit, yeah, I mean, would they have another subreddit? Sure, right? Would a lot of people, the people that watch Ethan every day, would they join it? Sure, right? But in terms of the size, it would never, ever, like, that's Ethan's size as a YouTube channel, H3's size as a podcast, and I'm going to say H3 Productions' size as a subreddit is due to the fact that the dude is older than dirt. He's been around the internet forever. And if he had to start from zero, he wouldn't get very far.
So, Ethan, I could argue that your people are the snarkers and your people are the one that are reporting me to ICE. You know what I mean? I can't with the hypocrisy. I can't with the lying. I can't with the narrative that he continues to put out, because you know what frustrates me to my core? What frustrates me to my core is when Ethan talks about Snark, and I'll be listening to him. I'll be like, that's a good point. That's a good point. And then I'm like, wait, I click on your Instagram story, and not only are you snarking on people all day, every day, but you're posting things from the H3 Productions Reddit, which at its fundamental core at least houses a lot of snarkers. And of course it does when it's that big. But that's what makes it hypocritical. Muckers, I will talk to all of you later. That is the current update. The Reddit has been taken down.
So Reddit's been taken down.